watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Colombia caves in after US threatened tariffs and other measures, agrees to accept deported citizens sent on US military aircraft. Next round of hostage release announced. 6 hostages, including Arbel Yehud, will be released this week. Israel allows Gazans to return home in the north. Today marks the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz concentration camp in Poland. EU chief says Europe will never forget the victims. South Korea submits preliminary report of Jeju plane crash to UN Aviation Agency and authorities of the US, France and Thailand. Well, on to the details now. The US and Colombia pulled back from the brink of a trade war on Sunday after the White House said the South American nation had agreed to accept military aircraft carrying deported migrants. US President Donald Trump had threatened tariffs and sanctions on Colombia to punish it for earlier refusing to accept military flights carrying deportees. Take a look at the report. Colombia on Sunday backed down and agreed to accept deported citizens sent on U.S. military aircraft hours after President Donald Trump threatened painful tariffs to punish the defiance to his mass deportation plans. Colombia's President Gustavo Petro had earlier said he would only take back citizens with dignity, such as on civilian planes, and had turned back 2 U.S. military aircraft with repatriated Colombians. Trump responded furiously and threatened sanctions of 25% that would quickly scale up to 50% against Latin America's 4th largest economy. Petro initially sought to hit back and impose his own tariffs on U.S. products, but by the end of the volatile Sunday, he had backed down.
El gobierno de Colombia informa.
Colombian government informs it has got over its impasse with the government of the United States. In this context, Colombian Foreign Minister Luis Gilberto Murillo and Ambassador Daniel Garcia Pena will travel in the coming days to Washington, D.C. to have high-level meetings that follow up on the agreements resulting from the joint work that led to the exchange of diplomatic notes between the two governments.
Trump said he would suspend implementation of the tariffs. Secretary of State Marco Rubio suspended issuance of visas at the U.S. Embassy in Bogota and said visas would be revoked to Colombian government officials and their immediate family members. The White House said the visa measures would stay in place until the first plane load of deportees returns. Trump's deportation threats have put him on a potential collision course with governments in Latin America, the original home of most of the United States' estimated 11 million undocumented migrants. While previous U.S. administrations also routinely carried out deportations, the Trump administration has begun using military aircraft, with at least 1 landing in Guatemala this week. Kajal's report, DD India. Well, Colombia on Monday backed down and agreed to accept repatriated citizens on military flights after President Donald Trump threatened major sanctions. Following the tone down, the Trump administration said it will suspend planned tariffs and most sanctions. Colombia's government, under directions of President Gustavo Petro, has made available the presidential plane to ease the return of Colombians.
El gobierno de Colombia informa.
Colombian government informs it has got over its impasse with the government of the United States. In this context, Colombian Foreign Minister Luis Gilberto Murillo and Ambassador Daniel Garcia Pena will travel in the coming days to Washington, D.C. to have high-level meetings that follow up on the agreements resulting from the joint work that led to the exchange of diplomatic notes between the two governments.
Que llevó al intercambio de notas diplomáticas entre los dos gobiernos.
Meanwhile, Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration expanded over the weekend, with several federal agencies carrying out respective operations in different parts of the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers and other federal agents conducted arrests in Chicago on Sunday. A Justice Department official said the first arrest in Chicago involved an immigrant living illegally in the U.S. who had killed a 19-year-old woman while driving under the influence. While in Colorado, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration detained around 50 undocumented migrants, many reportedly linked to Venezuela's Tren de Aragua gang. The arrests were made during a raid at a makeshift club in Adams County on Sunday. The operation, conducted in collaboration with federal and local authorities, also led to the seizure of drugs, weapons and cash. Also in Puerto Rico, ICE, with the support of Homeland Security, raided building targeting undocumented migrants. They also made arrests in Puerto Rico's San Juan and outside a Home Depot in Tucson, Arizona. While reacting to the whole crackdown operation, the White House border czar Tom Homan has said that the public should expect more arrests in the coming weeks. Tom Homan added that the operation was focused on individuals deemed a national security or public safety threat. Asked whether immigrations and customs enforcement officers would be entering typically off-limit spaces such as schools and churches, Homan said it would be determined on a case-by-case basis.
If you're in the country illegally, you're on the table, because it's not okay to, violate laws of this country. You got to remember, every time you enter this country illegally, you violated a crime under Title 8 United States Code 1325. It's a crime. So if you're in the country illegally, you got a problem. ICE officers should have discretion to decide if a national security threat or a public safety threat is in one of these facilities, then there should be an option for them to make the arrest.
While tensions in the West Asia continue to evolve as recent developments in the Israel-Gaza conflict and surrounding regions signal a shift in diplomatic efforts. Following successful negotiations, more hostages are said to be freed this week under a ceasefire agreement. Palestinians are also making their way to northern Gaza to return home. In a move towards de-escalation, Israel also extended its military deal with Lebanon. We have a report.
In the ongoing efforts to secure peace, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced on Sunday that 6 more hostages will be freed this week as part of a continued ceasefire agreement with Hamas. The hostages' release is a significant development in negotiations that have already seen many captives freed since last month. The hostages will be released in 2 groups. 3 will return to Israel on Thursday and another 3 on Saturday. Among them is Arbel Yehud, who had been expected to be freed earlier but was delayed. Yehud's release, alongside that of Agam Berger, a soldier, marks a critical step in the process.
For us, it's one long day since October the 7th. And in this one long day, what keeps us is the big hope and faith that they will come back to us healthy, and that's what keeps us alive and keep us in focus.
On Saturday, 4 Israeli female soldiers, Karina Ariev, Daniela Gilboa, Nama Levy and Liri Albag, were freed after being held captive by Hamas for months. Their release was made possible after a deal saw 200 Palestinian prisoners freed in exchange. Families of the hostages expressed their gratitude, thanking U.S. President Donald Trump for his involvement in their loved ones' safe return.
A very special thanks goes to President Trump for his unwavering support. Because of your powerful actions, we have our lives back. You made this deal possible after so many months where it felt like all hope was gone. Our hope rests with you for all of the hostages to return.
The role of the U.S. in these negotiations continues to be a focal point. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, in his first call with a foreign official since taking office, spoke with Prime Minister Netanyahu on Sunday. The United States reaffirmed its commitment to ensuring Israel's security as part of its border strategy to maintain stability in the region. Meanwhile, Israel-Lebanon deal is also extended until February 18th, which was about to expire. Under the 60-day deal, the Lebanese army was to deploy alongside UN peacekeepers in the south as the Israeli army withdrew. United States would negotiate with Israel and Lebanon for the return of Lebanese prisoners captured since October 7, 2023 Hamas attack on Israel. Aarti Rana's report, TD India.
Well, tensions rise in the Democratic Republic of Congo as the M23 rebel group asserts control over Goma, a critical city in the country's east. Meanwhile, the UN Security Council has condemned the blatant violation of Congo's sovereignty and territorial integrity, calling for the removal of external forces without explicitly naming them. Here's a report by DD India's Harshita Oberoi for more. Tensions have escalated in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo as the M23 rebel group claims to have seized Goma, a strategic city near the Rwandan border. Explosions and gunfire reverberated Sunday night, deepening a conflict that has displaced hundreds of thousands. Fierce clashes between M23 Congolese forces and UN peacekeepers have pushed Goma to the brink. The Congolese government accuses Rwanda of backing M23, calling it a declaration of war. Rwanda denies the allegations, insisting its troops are maintaining a defensive stance. However, UN reports claim Rwanda has deployed soldiers to support the rebels, allegedly to exploit the region's mineral wealth. Amid rising tensions, Kenya's President William Ruto announced an emergency summit with DRC President Felix Tshisekedi and Rwanda's President Paul Kagame to de-escalate the crisis.
I call on the parties to the Luanda process on Eastern DRC and appeal specifically to my brothers, President Felix Tshisekedi and President Paul Kagame, to heed the call for peace.
The human toll is devastating. Over 400,000 people have been displaced this year, with key roads and Goma's airport blocked. Humanitarian efforts are paralyzed, leaving many without essential supplies. The UN Security Council condemned the violation of Congo's sovereignty, demanding the withdrawal of external forces, but stopped short of naming Rwanda. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres called on Rwanda to cease support for M23. US Ambassador Dorothy Shea issued a stern warning.
The United States will consider all the tools at its disposal in order to hold accountable those responsible for sustaining armed conflict, instability, and insecurity in the DRC.
The UK and France echoed concerns, urging an end to attacks on peacekeepers and civilians. Peacekeepers have borne heavy losses, with 13 killed, including 9 South Africans. Diplomatic ties between DRC and Rwanda have collapsed, with both nations recalling ambassadors. Harshita Oberoi, DD India. Well, South Korea's authorities investigating last month's Jeju Air plane crash have submitted a preliminary accident report to the UN Aviation Agency and to the authorities of the United States, France and Thailand. The report said investigation into the deadliest air disaster on the country's soil remains ongoing. Investigation is focused on the roller bird strike and involving an analysis of the engines and the localizer landing guidance structure. The International Civil Aviation Organization, the UN agency, requires accident investigators to produce a preliminary report within 30 days of the accident and encourages a final report to be made public within 12 months. Well, 27th January 2025 marks the 80th anniversary of the liberation of the Nazi German concentration and extermination camp Auschwitz-Birkenau. This year's observance is particularly poignant as survivors, now in their advanced years, continue to bear witness to atrocities they endured. The Auschwitz-Birkenau State Museum expects around 50 survivors to attend Monday's events. They will be joined by heads of state including King Charles and other European royalty, Emmanuel Macron of France and German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier. Remembering the victims of Holocaust, EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen said that as the last survivors fade, it is the duty as Europeans to remember the unspeakable crimes and to honor the memories of the victims. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. Marking the successful culmination of NCC Republic Day Camp 2025, Prime Minister Modi to interact with NCC cadets in the national capital. Mahakumbh draws over 132 million devotees ahead of Amrit Snan amid cold wave and fog. And UT Ladakh beats Indo-Tibetan border police to win the women's ice hockey final. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address the annual National Cadet Corps Prime Minister Rally today at around 4:30 p.m. IST at the Cariappa Parade Ground in Delhi. A total of 2,361 NCC cadets participated in the Republic Day camp this year, which included 917 girl cadets, which was the highest ever participation by girls cadet. The participation of these cadets in the Prime Minister Rally will mark the successful culmination of the month-long NCC Republic Day Camp 2025. Theme for this year's NCC PM Rally is Yuva Shakti Viksit Bharat. A cultural program by more than 800 cadets showcasing commitment of NCC towards nation building will be performed on the day. Participation by 144 young cadets from 18 friendly foreign countries will add fervour to this year's rally. Over 650 volunteers from Mera Yuva Bharat, Education Ministry and Tribal Affairs from across the nation will also attend the NCC PM Rally as special guests. And India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will pay an official visit to the UAE from 27th to 29th this month. During the visit, the minister will meet the leadership of the UAE to review the close partnership between the two countries and explore avenues to further enhance the bilateral relationship. External Affairs Minister will also deliver the keynote address at the inaugural session of the Resina Middle East to be held in Abu Dhabi. The visit will provide an opportunity to advance the comprehensive strategic partnership between the two countries. And moving to resume bilateral engagements with China, India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri is on a two-day visit to Beijing, during which he will hold talks with Chinese officials in the second such high-profile visit from India to China in less than 1.5 months. The resumption of this bilateral mechanism flows from the agreement at the leadership level to discuss the next steps for India-China relations, including in the political, economic and people-to-people domains. The visit of Misri, who was also the former ambassador to China, is taking place ahead of the celebrations of China's Spring Festival and the Chinese New Year, beginning on January 29th, during which the country will officially shut down for a week. And with an aim to give further impetus to the free trade agreement talks between India and Oman, India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal will visit Muscat starting on Monday. During the two-day visit, the Commerce and Industry Minister will hold the 11th Joint Commission meeting with Oman's Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion Minister Qais bin Mohammed bin Musa Al Yusuf. The two leaders are expected to hold wide-ranging discussions on trade and investment and the global economic situation. The talks on India-Oman Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, CEPA, which are at an advanced stage, are likely to get further impetus during the visit. Both sides are negotiating and exploring a commercially significant, balanced, equitable, ambitious and mutually beneficial CEPA. On the sidelines, the minister is expected to meet Oman's finance minister and chairperson of the Ministerial Committee for CEPA, Sultan bin Salim Al Habsi, apart from holding interactions with representatives of Oman industry and Indian community. And the North Indian state of Uttarakhand is all set to implement the Uniform Civil Code on Monday, making it the first state to make it a law. State Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami in a statement said that UCC will bring uniformity in society while ensuring equal rights and responsibilities to all citizens. The UCC seeks to establish uniform and equal set of rules on marriage, divorce, succession and inheritance for all citizens in the state except the scheduled tribes irrespective of religion. It makes the registration of all marriages and live-in relationships mandatory. The Uniform Civil Code or the UCC Act was notified on March 12, 2024 after presidential assent. And now to all the latest from the Mahakumbh, the largest gathering of humans on the planet. Well, the Mahakumbh has witnessed over 132 million devotees take a holy dip at the confluence of the rivers Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati so far. India's Home Minister Amit Shah will visit Prayagraj on Monday to take a holy dip at the Triveni Sangam. The Home Minister is expected to meet several saints including Shankaracharya Puri and Shankaracharya Dwarka. Meanwhile, a sea of devotees has started converging in Prayagraj for the Mahakumbh ahead of the Amrit Snan on Mauni Amavasya on Wednesday. Devotees brave cold wave and fog conditions to take the holy dip. The Mahakumbh, one of the largest religious gatherings in the world, is held every 12 years, with this year's event expected to host over 450 million visitors by the February 26th. Well, Uttar Pradesh government has declared the entire Mahakumbh Mela area in Prayagraj as the no-vehicle zone from today. The decision has been taken to ensure smooth management of the massive crowds expected at Mauni Amavasya on 29th of January. The Integrated Control and Command Centre has been activated to monitor crowd density and ensure that no excessive gathering takes place at Sangam Nose. Quick response teams have been deployed in high-density areas to handle emergencies. And a large number of devotees flocked to visit Ram Janambhoomi temple in Ayodhya after the pilgrims attended Mahakumbh in Prayagraj. The influx has led authorities to tighten security measures in Ayodhya to accommodate the growing crowd. Special arrangements have been made, including expanding capacity and ensuring devotees' safety during the cold weather. According to the authorities, large crowds are expected after the Amrit Snan on Mauni Amavasya on the 29th of January. And now to some sports news now. Union Territory of Ladakh secured a 4-0 win over Indo-Tibetan Border Police in the finals of the women ice hockey event in Leh on Monday. The winning team shared their excitement in an exclusive conversation with DD India's Abhishek Mahajan. Listen in.
What a great game we've witnessed in women's ice hockey final. Ladakh defeating ITBP 4-0, and I have the winning team with me. Captain of the team, first of all, congratulations. How tough was the match? I think it was a cakewalk. You defeated ITBP 4-0.
Yes, sir. It was initially we feel a little difficult, but our target is to win this championship. From last year, our target is to win this championship. So today we fulfill our dream. So I'm so happy. I'm thankful to our coach Mustaq Giri sir and with our technical staff members and also Ice Hockey Association of Ladakh. They also help us in They also help us in practice during practice time. And so I'm thankful to all the UT administration and all those who support our team. Thank you.
All right, great feeling, Rinchan, to win the gold medal.
Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, last year we defeated from the ITBP, but this time we did. Yeah, we won the match, and this year we continuously winning 3 straight gold medal. Yes.
Were you expecting 4-0? Were you expecting it to be that good a result?
To be honest, at the start we were like kind of nervous because last year they defeated us with the same score. It was 4-0. But this year we were really happy. At the first half, it was kind of a bit difficult for us because like all of them have modeled down because of the last year. But then the team came back really strong, and I'm really glad that the team did really well. And I'm really happy that we scored 4-0, and it was a total shutdown from our goalie. And I'm really happy with all the teammates and the coach and the staff and the people who supported us. Thank you so much.
All right, all the best to all of you, and may you bring more and more medals and play for India soon. With cameraman Shubham Sharma, this is Abhishek Mahajan in Leh for DD India.
All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. Well, we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Kurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.